So odds are you are watching this video because you have a Viper two-way LCD remote that is just too darn sensitive. It pushes buttons too easy in your pocket and it's kind of annoying. So today we're going to talk about how to make that a little less sensitive and make it so it's more difficult for those buttons to push accidentally in your pocket. So the supplies you need obviously is your Viper remote. So this applies to the 7941 or 7944 version remotes for such as for the 5904 or 5906 Viper alarms. There may be others out there as well. So besides that, we need a tiny screwdriver for this little screw here in the bottom. It's actually a Phillips head, but I found that a tiny little flathead worked better for me. So whichever works best for you. Then we'll need a small flathead screwdriver, something around that size would work good, and then some small cutting pliers. Okay, so we start by flipping the remote over and taking out this little screw here. It's kind of a little bugger the first time you do it, so try not to strip it if you can. Just get that out of there as best as you can. I've already taken it out before, so cheating, it's a little easier this time. Okay, so we pull that out of there, set it aside somewhere safe, or we can use that again later. Okay, so now we're going to want to, from the back side of the remote, we're going to want to take this back plate off. Best way to do that is start on the opposite side of this rotary controller there, just so we don't damage that or break it. So if we start kind of down low, just get the screwdriver between the back plate and this little side trim here. If you get down low, you can get behind there, and then just work your screwdriver up. Just kind of pop that out and around, and it should just come right off real easy like. Okay, set that aside. So now we can get the internal parts here. If we flip it over, it should just kind of pop out of there real easy. Be careful not to damage this wheel because it's easy to break that one. Okay, we'll set that aside. Now we got our buttons in here. We can just pop those out. And if you see back here, we got the four different buttons with the little kind of plus sign on the back side of each one. That's what makes contact with the metal contacts for each button there. So if we kind of fold back the bottom one, you can see how that one sticks out, a couple millimeters or so at the most. And what we want to do here is just kind of trim that down a little bit to make it more difficult to, when you push the button, make it more difficult to make contact with the button underneath. That way it doesn't push so easily. So I've already actually trimmed down one just to kind of prove it out before I try to tell you guys to do it as well. So what you can do here is just kind of take your cutting pliers, and the idea is just to start small, just do a little bit and then try it. So I'm going to kind of get in there, just nip a little bit off there, maybe get a different angle on it. Cut off a little bit more there. So you can see there, I just cut off just a little bit. Okay, so now I'm actually going to try it out and see how it works. So I did the lock button. So I'll go ahead and I'll do the silent one. Go ahead and give that a try. You can see there, it's actually much more difficult not difficult, but to push it a little harder now than I used to before. So it's actually kind of in a nice little spot now. I can do the same thing for the other three buttons. Get them all to right where you want them. Make it so it's not too difficult but not too hard. So start out small, do a little bit of cuts at a time until they're all kind of where you want them. So I can fold this one back and just do a little bit on this one as well. Just do a little bit and then I'll try it out, make sure it's how I want it. So once you get all four of those to trim down to how you want them, test it out, make sure it's working well, and then we can reassemble it back together again. So to reassemble it, we're going to take our front plate, put the little keys back in there, just get those set in there real nice, get this corner tabs just set back into place, so that way it looks like that again. Kind of blow that off because that's going to be in between there, so just get the dust out of there so you don't have to look at that forever. And then just get that wheel back into place there. Set it down like that. Get our back plate. I like to start on the side with that wheel just so I make sure that that one's in there first. I'm not going to break anything. Just get those kind of snapped back in. Start on this corner, push that back in, push that top corner back in. So now everything looks good. We can test it out again here if we want to. Then when we're all done, put that screw back into place. Just snug it up a little bit. Don't over tighten it. You don't want to strip it out. It's just plastic, right? Alright, and that's it. Now we can test it out and we'll see it's much more difficult to push those buttons as far as not accidentally pushing my pocket anymore. So makes the remote usable again. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.